On this episode of System Integrators Weekly, the 9800X 3D is here, except it isn't. It's sold out everywhere and being scalped, unless you buy it through a pre-built. Let's see which system integrator has the best deals. All that and more on this episode of SI Weekly.
Let's go, nerds!
Hello everyone, I'm Brayathorn. Welcome to SI Weekly. It's happened again. As soon as something good finally comes out, it gets scalped, it gets sold out. It's something that the DIY enthusiast has maybe gotten used to at this point, but doesn't mean we're happy about it. However, that doesn't really affect system integrators as much. Pre-built PCs are going to be the way to get yourself a system with a 9800X 3D. It's an amazing CPU. It actually outperforms pretty much everything else on the market, including AMD's own 7800X 3D, and it does it while running cooler. The change that they made by running the 3D V-cache underneath the core complex die has been a game changer for them. And it's even, like I said last week, the best Photoshop CPU on the market. So if you're doing gaming and you do graphic design, this is the CPU for you. So let's take a look at what some system integrators have out there. There are some that don't have it. We'll just, take a look at those later once they eventually do have it. Every SI knew this was coming. You guys all were aware of what was going on, but it doesn't mean that every system integrator was able to get their hands on one or a bunch of them, because they need a bunch of them. But they do have their own supply coming to them through their distributors. So this should be the way, for a while anyway, to get yourself a 9800X 3D system. It just means that you wouldn't be able to build it yourself. So if that's something that you're concerned with, this is the same thing as when this was happening with GPUs. You can just buy pre-built and then unbuild it and rebuild it into a custom chassis or do something, whatever you want. Let's get into this. We got a lot of systems to look at, including from a system integrator I have not covered before, but that's after I let you guys know this video is sponsored by VIP CDK Deals. The best place to go when you want to get yourself an OEM Windows license to get rid of that annoying watermark and unlock all the customization Windows has to offer. So instead of paying well over $100 for a retail version of Windows, you can get an OEM key for a fraction of the price. Plus, you can use my code BRAY25 to get a nice fat discount off of the already discounted price. Keep in mind that this is an OEM key that gets attached to this system and cannot be used with another one or if you change your hardware. Make sure you get the right key for your operating system. For more information on how to use CDK Deals, click the link in the description saying here's how it works, and I'll walk you through the whole thing. Thank you, CDK Deals, for continuing to support the channel. First off, a few disclaimers before we get into this. This video is being filmed for the week of November 11th, 2024. Pricing and availability is very likely to change if you watch this a few weeks or a couple months later. If you want more up-to-date content, please click my face right here or wait till the end of the video and I'll have some, videos you can click on that. One of them is going to take you to the latest one that I've published. The next is you are going to hear opinions here. These are my opinions. There are many like them, but these ones are mine. And if you happen to disagree, that's totally fine. Please do so politely in the comments below or join our Discord, which is linked in the description below. Next up, this is not financial advice. This is just me generally looking at systems. I don't know your specific needs as an individual viewer. If you want one-on-one help, you're free to come and get that for free every Tuesday and Thursday on stream at 8 p.m. Central Time right here on YouTube or at twitch.tv/Brayathorn. It's actually a really fun time. I definitely think you should check it out. Even if you've already decided what you want, you get to hear my methodology, how I figure out what people have told me through the form that you fill out. There's a form that you fill out to get on the list, and how I get that info and then make these suggestions. So really good time. And then the last one is this. If you're decided that you want a pre-built, like as I said earlier, that's kind of the only way to get a 9800X 3D at a reasonable price these days, for right now anyway, that's totally fine. And I totally am in support of that. I think that it's a great way to get into this hobby that can be difficult to get into. Starting with a system that is warranted, it's built and tested for you and all that stuff. You pay extra for that though. And that's the thing. If you're on the fence between going pre-built or building it yourself for your first PC, I would encourage you to strongly consider building it yourself. Now, that's not me, saying that it's not good to get a pre-built. It's totally awesome. But if you want to build it yourself, you can save money that way. Or for the same amount, you get more performance, better parts, because you're not paying for the service of having it built for you, tested, warranted, shipped, all that good stuff. So yes, 9800X3D. I've already talked about it quite a bit in last week's video. So if you want to get more info on the CPU, check that out. You can see how before it was even launched and before the reviews came out, I was pretty much spot on with most of my predictions there, and that's with no inside info. So if you're looking for a gaming PC, then this is the CPU for you. If it's a little above your price point, there are going to be discounts on, if you can find it, 7800X3D, and there's still things like the 5700X3D for the previous platform, though you're kind of buying into a dead platform there. There's other great options if it's $480 or whatever the markup is at some of these SIs. There are plenty of deals that are going to be a better deal there, and I might even be cooking up a little something special for Black Friday, so stay tuned for that. But for the 9800X3D, it's just going to be an absolute banger if you're wanting to game only, or if you want to game and stream. I think it's going to be great for both, because streaming 8 cores, 16 threads is plenty, and you get to utilize that cache when it comes to the gaming side of streaming. So it's going to be great for those two use cases. You're trying to edit video, look elsewhere. If you're trying to do graphic design, it's the best on the market right now. It beat out the previous winner, which was this 9700X. So Adobe Photoshop just really loves AMD's 8-core 16-thread architecture. They just really like that. They like that kind of CPU. So being that this one is now overclockable, has higher frequencies than the previous Gen 1, but with all that, it's just really the best product that they've come out with in a very long time. It's very, very good. To get started with this, we're going to start off with a system integrator I haven't covered before. And they are the SI that is sending a 9800X3D system that I get to unbox, test live on stream, and then give away to one of you lucky viewers. So really exciting stuff. And the SI in question here is called Sik PCs, SIK PCs. I promise you they're actually quite healthy. And we're going to see just what they have in store for us with that 9800X3D. Let's take a look. So this is the Sik PCs website, sikpcs.com, so sikpcs.com. And it's really nice and clean, a lot going on here. There is this really cool little effect where wherever you leave your mouse sitting, there's like a highlight thing, very cool. They keep the website nice and clean. And at the very top left is where you're going to want to start off, and you go to desktop PCs. And what we're going to look at is the custom builder. And what I've done is I've already put together a really nice PC here. Now, this does not reflect the giveaway PC that we're going to have, but let's do a little zoom in here and get a better look at what we're doing here. So of course, they calling this a pre-order, and you're going to see that here and there. I wish that we could see like anything like added 1 week lead time, and you will see that at least iBUYPOWER does that. But a couple other ones just say pre-order. But they have it there, it's ready for purchase and all that. And of course, this is a smaller SI. You're going to see things like part markups, things like that. This is more of a boutique style builder, but that does mean more attention to detail in the build. You'll have one person building it from start to finish. We have the 9800X3D, and thankfully not like scalper pricing. It's not like $1,000, but it is at $557.11. Next, we get to the CPU cooler here, and I went ahead, I'm doing a white build on this, and I chose the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3. 360 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler. There are a lot of choices here though, which is really nice, including like the Lee & Lee Hydra Shift, where you get the really short tubes because it's placed perfectly for having the tubes go straight up into the radiator. So a lot of Lee & Lee products here. Plus you're going to have some Noctua here if you want a tower cooler, and Arctic for AIOs. Then moving on to the motherboard, I didn't think we needed to go with the Strix X870A motherboard, which is at $401 here. Instead, we went with the Asus Prime X870-P, which still has some nice silver elements, which will match it nicely with the white build. If you do want to go all out and possibly get more IO and things like that, if you're doing a streaming build, you probably want to go with this one right here. And then in the RAM department, everything is already quite good. The RAM that was already selected it's specifically stated that this is Expo memory, and that is going to be throughout here. All of these are Expo memory, and that might change if we went with like an Intel CPU that would use XMP instead. Expo is AMD's overclocking profile for RAM. So this right here already is 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL36. If you want a lower cast latency, you can move up to down here. You have 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL30 in the Trident Z5 Neo from G.Skill. And then moving down here, we have storage. And in the storage, I feel like some of the selections, I was like, why is there, the 500 gig on why is that an option? I'm not sure. I wouldn't really recommend that because you might have someone who's like, I just want the best CPU and GPU. I'm going to go cheapest I can on everything else. And then they might end up choosing this. And then they might end up having to install new storage in about 2 weeks. But I went ahead and went with the Samsung 990 Pro series for the 2TB PCIe Gen 4 drive here that we have at 174.82. Then next we went with the GPU. There are a lot of times where I'll have people complain about the fact that you can't choose your graphics card or choose your motherboard. Well, Sik PCs is also tired of that. So the way that they have it set up is you choose a specific graphics card. What does that mean though? Well, that means you're going to have a lot of selections here, a lot of selections to go through. And that's what I went through it. And I found a 4070 Ti Super, the Asus Tough Gaming version there. It's going to match that white build beautifully. And there's a nice version in the gunmetal gray if you're doing a black build instead. But they do go all the way up to the 4090, which is surprising. They're very hard to get right now. For the power supply, because we went with 4070 Ti Super, this is overkill to go 1000 watts, but I definitely did anyway with the Seasonic Vertex GX 1000. With ATX 3.0/PCIe 5.0 compliance there. So you actually have a native 12V PWR connector, and there you go. For the case, I went with the Phanteks XT View in white, and this is a really nice looking case, definitely reminiscent of the Y40, but with what looks like better bottom airflow, and looks like fans included as well. But there you have it, and then you choose Windows 11 Pro with a USB, and it's pre-installed, $56.70. That's not bad for that. That's it. That's our system. What is the overall price? That comes in at $2588.81 for a boutique build featuring the 9800X3D and a 4070 Ti Super Asus Tough OC edition in white, and the nice Phanteks XT View with 2 terabytes of very fast storage, 32 gigs of memory at the appropriate frequency, with a decent motherboard that could be upgraded to the Asus ROG Strix version, and the Seasonic Vertex GX 1000. Really, really nice build coming in at $2588. But here is the best part. Why is this not letting me add it to cart? I guess the fans. Well, let's go ahead and add that in. That does make this $26.77 but now I can add it to cart. Sure. I thought the case came with fans. I could be wrong. Well, the thing is, I wanted to show you guys what the discount that we got on this could do for you, because I've got a code, well, it's code Brayathorn, that is 5% off, but I was not able to add this to cart. So I'll get with Sik PCs and see what's going on there. It could be because of the pre-order. Can't be sure. But because that, of course, since it just launched, was recently added. But we'll find out. And I'll let you guys know with a note right here. Now we're going to move on to iBUYPOWER. Now, iBUYPOWER, when you're thinking about, okay, what is the way that I can get this thing best price to performance possible? Don't care about the motherboard, don't care about the power supply. I don't want you guys thinking like that. I wish you wouldn't. But I understand if like you're on a budget, but you really want that CPU. All right, I get it. iBUYPOWER would be probably the one in a ready system where you might think that's going to be the best option, and maybe look at iBUYPOWER, look at Skytech, look at CyberPower PC. I couldn't even finish that sentence. Don't get CyberPower PC. We're going to look at both iBUYPOWER and Skytech for the more price to performance oriented systems here. But there was not a ready system, surprisingly enough. There's no ready system available. And I guess that makes sense because the way it is, I mean, it did just launch, and the way ready systems work, they build them, test them, box them up, ready to ship. If they're just getting their shipments of 9800X3Ds, it takes a while for production to ensue and to get all these things built and tested. Their testing facilities are amazing. Their build facilities are amazing. I've seen all of that stuff, and there's a tour video you guys can watch. It's right up there if you want to click on it. So they don't have one ready. So what I did instead was I did a custom system here. So what we have here is, it tells you right here that it is a pre-order with an extra 1 week lead time. That's not bad. So the case, I went with a Cougar MX600, not a case I'm personally familiar with, but having looked at it through here, I think it's a pretty nice looking case for sure. And then of course we have that 9800X3D CPU in there. For the cooling, we have the iBUYPOWER AW4 360mm ARGB liquid cooler with a nice new CPU block that they have on there. And this is their updated cooler with updated tech in it. If you want to find something that is more of a name brand, you can go with either the Corsair iQ Link H150i, or that one does not have the LCD. It's just, you know, the CPU block. This is 173 more than the iBUYPOWER one here. or the NZXT Kraken Elite 360 millimeter liquid cooler with the LCD display in white. That is $230 more, but it has the LCD display on there. Now for the RAM, I went with the 32 gigs of Team Group T-Force Delta RGB because it has a DDR5 6000 megahertz frequency, and that was only $20 more than the 32 gigs of DDR5 5600 Kingston Fury Beast RAM that was here. So for 20 bucks more, you get RGB, and it is the sweet spot frequency for this architecture here. So now for the GPU, I went with the 7900 XTX. Boy, oh boy, this thing is a banger, and it is the closest thing that you can get to a 4090 without spending the extra $1,000. It's not that close to a 4090 is kind of in a class all on its own, but this is a 4K gaming GPU. You can do game in 4K or very high refresh rate, 1440p, or extreme 1080p for the most competitive of you out there that are actually doing esports stuff. The motherboard is one that I've recommended many a times, the MSI X670E Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Why not X870? Because this is going to be more affordable. It runs the 9800X3D no problem, and look at this I/O. It is an absolute banger. Plus, this is good for black or white builds with the black, silver, and teal aesthetic that's in here. Very, very subtle teal highlights there, but I think that this thing, the beauty is in its functionality. Look at how many PCIe expansion slots are in this thing. It's an absolutely awesome motherboard, especially for the price. For the power supply, I went the 1050 watt Enermax Revolution DF X Series 80 plus gold PCIe Gen 5 fully modular. 7900 XTX can be pretty power hungry. So I also noticed this case has an integrated GPU support bracket, which is really nice. One reminder, if you're buying from iBUYPOWER, they're very likely to send you the GPU uninstalled from the system in its own box so that you can safely install it. It won't break anything. And that is, I think, a pretty good practice. And installing a GPU is one of the easiest things you can do. I show you how to do it in this video linked right up here, which is a video on how to set up your new pre-built gaming PC, or just your new gaming PC in general. Storage went 2 terabyte Crucial P3 Plus. You can go with a faster 2 terabyte Kingston Fury Renegade. That is going to give you faster speeds. It has onboard DRAM, all that good stuff. It is $78 more. I leave that choice to you. And that's it. Operating system, Windows 11 Home, and the price, $2603. However, let's hit add to cart. It tells you that it's going to ship it uninstalled. Sure, I did already tell them that. So viewing the cart, we're going to go here and go ahead and put in, you can put BF month if you want and apply a $100 discount, but check this out. We're going to do instead Braethorn 6 and hit apply. And that gives you a discount of $130 off. So this system with a 9800X3D, a 7900 XTX, a motherboard that I recommend, whatever your use case is, it will handle it and handle it really well. A power supply that's well rated, and 2 terabytes of fast storage, although you can get faster storage if you want to. You can take that $130 and you put it into the parts. You can get upgrades if you want. And a really nice white case. And this is an absolute banger for $24.72. There you go. And that's, of course, linked in the description down there. And of course, using a coupon code that we have, it will help out the channel and help you out with a discount. Now we're going to take a look at Paradox Customs. Paradox has been getting rave reviews from the community members who have gone through them. I know these guys are very good at what they do. I didn't see any 9800X3Ds that were pre-configured, so I went ahead and did in the custom builder. They do have the 9800X3D right there, and they have it for $20 above MSRP. Really not bad at all. And we went with, let's see, Asus TUF Gaming B650 Plus motherboard with Wi-Fi. And for the cooler, they're only doing a 240mm AIO in this. And that's apparently, based on the testing that I've seen by reviewers, that's plenty fine for a 9800X3D. It does everything its predecessor did while running at lower temperatures. It is efficient and powerful. It's an amazing CPU. So 240mm AIO from Arctic. Then we have 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL36. It's not CL30, but CL36 for $105. Not bad. For the storage, I went ahead and upgraded to the Crucial T500 Pro. And this one here is going to give you up to 7,400 megabyte per second read speeds. It's a really, really nice M.2 drive. Then moving on, we're using the 4070 Ti Super. For this build, this is not one of their highest end builds, but you can still go all the way up to a 4080 Super if you want to, or go down to the 4070 Super, which would take off $200 from the price right there. It already includes Azuhorse black cable sleeves. I went up to the 850 watt gold 80 ATX 3.0 power supply from Be Quiet right here. That's it. The whole build altogether came out to $2,420 right there before the discount you get with code Brayathorn. And there you have it. Takes off $48.40. So that leaves it at $23.71.60. That's really, really nice. Now we're going to go ahead and look at Skytech. So Skytech Gaming actually hit the ground running with the 9800X3D, and congrats to them on that. Basically, you click on the main page, click on pre-built gaming PCs. Not any of these specifically, just the term up here. Scroll down, and then I set it to low to high out of these, which you do that first. And then I go over to CPUs and I click on the Ryzen 9 9800X3D. That's wrong. 9800X3D is a Ryzen 7. Anyways, it's just one single digit there, but they put it in everything. It all says Ryzen 9. Oh no. Anyways, they have 7 systems pre-configured, ready to go. Needless to say, the 9800X3D is also available in their custom builder. But a lot of people do like the pre-configured systems, even though you can't choose your motherboard, choose your storage, choose things like that. There's a lot of value to be had here. And of course, stuff like storage is really easy to add if there's not enough. But if we were to pick one system out of here, I'd probably go with either the King 95 in white here that has the 4070 Ti Super. There's an O11 dynamic system here that has the same CPU and GPU here, but I'd probably choose this one. We'll take a better look at that. Or the one here that has the 7900 XTX for $24.99. So let's take a good look at this one. So this is the King 95 in white here. Now you see a range in the price. The reason is before you can add this to your cart, you have to choose either the 1-year standard warranty, 2-year refundable protection program, or 3-year refundable protection program. It looks like we've got the Ryzen 7 9800X3D, 4070 Ti Super, 64 gigs of DDR5 6000, a 2 terabyte Gen 4 M.2 drive, 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply, a 360 millimeter AIO, and the B650 motherboard. So there are real upsides to this system. Good Lord, 64 gigs of RAM right out of the gate. Really, really nice. But there are some downsides to this too. We don't know what motherboard goes in there. So I can't legitimately tell you how many USB ports are on the back of this system. If you're going to be streaming and you're going to do it for a while, you're going to get more and more USB devices to plug in there, audio interfaces, stream decks, maybe more than one. Trust me. Once you get one, you're going to probably want another one. USB webcams, USB microphones, or USB audio interface. Like I said, all kinds of stuff. It builds up over time. Next thing is I wish they had used the King 95 Pro instead of the regular King 95, because the King 95 Pro comes with matching reverse flow fans already. I don't know if these are reverse flow or not. We do have a discount code here. That discount code is SWARM, SWARM, and that will give you a nice discount on this or this system right here. So this system is in the Antec P1 Performance case, and I think it's a really nice looking case. This has the 9800X3D, of course, a 7900 XTX, 32 gigs of DDR5 6000. This power supply is a 1000 watt ATX 3.0. Like, you don't need 12 VH PWR for a 7900 XTX, but ATX 3.0 denotes other improvements over previous standards for power supplies. 2 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe drive. Looks like the fans that come with it in the case, plus your AIO. This is a 360 millimeter AIO. Yeah, there you have it. It's a nice system for $24.99. 9800X3D and 7900 XTX. Whether you want this or whether you want to go with the iBUYPOWER system, you have two good options with that CPU and GPU pairing. It's going to be absolutely super powerful and play every game that you need. I think this is a great deal right here if you're looking for just peak performance and you're focused on like 4K gaming at a very high level, like with AAA titles. This is going to be a great system for that. So that's going to be that for Skytech. Don't forget code SWARM if you decide to go with one of these. For now, we're going to move on to Starforge Systems and their Creator Series. Now, the Voyager 2 Pro is going to be the system we're talking about here. And well, the Voyager 2 in general is the system we're talking about because some other systems don't really have the option to choose between AMD or Intel. They'll just use Intel for some of those, or they'll use a 7800X3D. This is a system where I found the 9800X3D, but where I take issue with that, Starforge, is that this is the Creator Series, and aside from Adobe Photoshop, where the 9800X3D really shines, it's not good for video editing. It's better than the 9700X, which is where you see some of those architectural benefits, and the layout change, putting the 3D V cache underneath the core complex die has made big improvements there. And that's why this is going to need to have the 9950X3D to make it Creator Series, because I have a strong feeling that AMD's leading up to having 3D V cache under both CCDs so that you can have maybe get rid of core parking, but it could be really, really good for video editing. But with Intel on this one, what do they have? 14900K. Supposedly with the microcode updates, that should be fine, but we don't know. So I'm still really leery about recommending 14900K. And now there's the 285K, which is better at video editing. I would say Voyager 2 Pro in AMD trim with the, let's see what it has. This system comes in at $32.99. It's got a 9800X3D and a Starforge custom Bits Power 360mm liquid cooler that I think looks really nice. And of course they chose the best color to represent this system right here. Thank you for that. Now here's the other thing. Content creator, this is 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, DDR5 6000 CL38, not great cast latency on there, but hey, that could have been 64 gigs. If you're gonna say that this is your Creator Series, like say you have someone who's a streamer who plays Escape from Tarkov, their 32 gigs of RAM are already being stressed by that, not to mention adding in OBS on top of that, maybe adding in Discord, adding in, you know, something like Spotify or whatever you're running. So someone who's really into streaming, you should start thinking about 64 gigs of RAM. I'm sure if we go to the Voyager 2 Elite, it's going to have 64 gigs of RAM. Yep, it does. So I feel like if you're going to put Creator on it, go all out on the things that creators need, even if they don't know that they need it yet. MSI X670E Tomahawk Wi-Fi, not a bad motherboard there. Okay, that's a decent motherboard. 4080 Super at this price is appropriate. Mesh sleeve cable extensions, 2TB PCIe Gen 4 drive here. MSI MPG A1000G Gold PCIe 5 is a good power supply. O11D Evo RGB is a nice, really nice case. And of course they have the plate light thing. I've been back and forth on this, and of course I've talked to you guys over at Starforge about this. I feel like giving up on 3 intake fans for aesthetics is definitely a choice, but they know their stuff over there. They've tested their stuff. So I've given over on that. It's like just adding a million fans isn't necessarily airflow anyway. You can design airflow in this way where you basically have a chimney style setup here, except for your rear exhaust fan, bottom intake, top exhaust. But really that AIO, the only air it's getting is just heated air from that GPU, because all the fresh air is kind of going to the GPU except for a little area here. The thing is, that's fine for gaming. If you're gaming only, your GPU is really the one that's going to be stressed more anyway. But this is your Creator Series. What I would like is if Starforge offered an option to have the 3 fans instead. But this right here is their claim to fame. That's their whole thing. So this is the most expensive system so far. We do have one more expensive than this. Now I wanted to go ahead and include VRLA Tech in here because I got to tell you, chat was so impressed with the build quality of it and everything when we had that giveaway PC. By the way, 5 days left as the time of filming right now. This Sunday, 5 days left for that giveaway. It ends on the 15th. Get in on that, please. This is their top of the line gaming PC that they have, the Phoenix gaming PC with the Ryzen 7, see, Skytech, 9800X3D and a GeForce RTX 4090. Now this thing is coming in at a cool $3799, but with a 4090 and a 9800X3D, it wasn't going to be any less than that, okay? This GPU by itself is almost $2,000. So don't be surprised by that. But the other specs are all respectable as well. 64 gigs of DDR5 6000, 2TB M.2 drive. We don't know what kind. X870 motherboard, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth included. We don't know what, but this does look like an ROG Strix motherboard here. 1200 watt 80 plus gold power supply and 10 high performance RGB fans. But here's where you have options. You can choose a color, go with black or white. And in white, it's still $37.99. You can choose to go with either non-RGB fans if you don't like RGB. You can go with IQ SP120s, RGB Elite Performance fans for $160, or go with the Li & Li Unifan SL Infinities for $160 as well. They do carry purple, but they don't have it listed here because they can't get a 12VH PWR cable in purple, unfortunately. But other than that, they have a lot of options here, including streamers as well. Li & Li streamer cables. You can put LED strips in there if you want, and maintenance. You can add on a 1 or 2 year gaming PC maintenance service. I saw that. I did discuss that before. This already comes with a 2-year parts warranty, 3-year labor coverage, and lifetime support. Maintenance is where they're going to go ahead and clear, dust the thing out, but also optimize your operating system and stuff like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, there are some optimization services that will charge you a couple $100 anyway. This way you pay for it up front and it's going to be like $299 to get that done for a whole year. The thing is, I don't really see a whole lot of value in that. I just suggest learning how to do that kind of maintenance yourself. But this right here, awesome system right here. It looks amazing. And if you're looking for something really high end, this is a good option. Now, some of you may be expecting me to show Alexander PCs here. However, Alexander PCs has not yet updated the site to show 9800X 3Ds on the site. However, if you do want that in a system, you just got to email them. It's admin@alexanderpcs.com and just shoot them an email and say, hey, I want the blank system, but with a 9800X 3D. Boom, done. And then use code Brayathorn to get $50 off. Now, the last we're going to be looking at here, an SI that I really like, but haven't talked about in a while, PowerGPU. What's up, PowerGPU? What I saw here was when you looked at their Power series, they hadn't yet updated that to have the 9800X 3D in the system that would have the 7800X 3D. Instead, right now they have 9000 series, but non-3D V-Cache versions on those. But they do have a pre-order option here for the 9800X 3D in their configurator. So I went ahead and threw together a system at $2689.90. That's got the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D with the MSI Mag X670E Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard. The case, by the way, is the Thermaltake View 380 TG in black. Corsair Vengeance 32 gigs, DDR5 6000, CL30. Cast latency is 30 on that, and you have a few options here. Then we went with the Thermaltake TH360 V2 RGB AIO liquid cooler. Principal storage on this is going to be Kingston KC3000 or SKC3000D, 2 terabyte Gen 4 drive, 7,000 megabyte per second sequential read and write speeds on that. Really nice drive, very reliable. And I went with a 4070 Ti Super for the graphics card. And you can go all the way up to a 4090 here, but that is going to be an additional, what, $1,200 over the 4070 Ti Super. I'm thinking 4070 Ti Super is a really nice point here that you can get to, and that's going to match that 9800X 3D nicely. 4070 Super also would do really nicely. If you're doing mostly 1080p stuff, I'd go 4070 Super. That's going to crank out all the 1080p frames you need if you're doing pro gaming, esports kind of stuff, right? And then the power supply went with the 1000 watts Pure Power 12M from Be Quiet. I know there's an 850 watt option here, and you can actually go with that if you want when you're doing a 4070 Ti Super, and it would be just fine. But I like the room to grow, the option that you have here. I mean, they're saying the 5090 is going to be a 600 watt card straight out of the box, and that's before AIBs get their hands on them. So yeah, a little extra wattage can go a long way, I think, for future upgrades. And it's $2689.90, and using code Brayathorn will get you $50 off of that or any other PC on PowerGPU. These guys are awesome, and I've known them well for a while. I think that this is a really good option going for another boutique build. So, boy, oh boy, we covered a lot of systems today. There are some SIs that I really wanted to include, but they didn't yet have 9800X 3D on there. And again, we all knew it was coming out, but sometimes if they just couldn't get their hands on it, they didn't want to put something on the site they hadn't tested themselves. I totally respect that, totally understand. And we can cover that in the coming days. But we have Black Friday coming up, and I do have some surprises in store for you guys. So get subscribed so you don't miss out on that. We should have some dedicated streams coming up for that. And we're going to be getting that system from Sik PCs and doing an unboxing and testing stream on that and doing a giveaway for it. So if you want to get your hands on a 9800X 3D, you best subscribe, hit the bell, whatever, do all the stuff, I guess. You know what? And I don't know, like the video. I'm supposed to say all this stuff. This is a part of the job description. I just don't usually do it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's going to be it for this video. And until the next one, take care.